for being here tonight. And so without further ado, I get the pleasure to bring on somebody that has just made a huge difference in my life. I mean, the guy is just I considered him to be my personal mentor from afar, although he didn't know who I was for the longest, because the company that we built just exploded. And there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people at our level. So what's cool about where we are at the Alliance right now, we're big enough where we're stable, we're crushing it, we're doing all that, but we haven't hit the hyper growth yet where we're going, where you have people come into your team and they just absolutely, like I said, you don't even know you're growing so big that the events are, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So luckily, like I hope we never take it for granted, but we get to have one-on-one conversations with Marc at the bar, all these different places. And so he is unbelievable. He's going to be doing it is my favorite event that I've ever been to. I'd put it up against any Tony Robbins event, any Grant Cardone event out there. So love this guy. He's going to light him up. Marc, did you make the call?
I did, Mr. Guerra. How are you, buddy? Good?
I'm good. Roll Tide. Let's get it.
Roll Tide. Well, Marcus, that was outstanding. Again, Marcus did a great job at the live event. It was just so fun for me to just sit back here and watch him do that role playing with you, Mike, because you were giving him a hard time and he was just so calm and smooth. I just hope you listen to the tone of his voice more than anything. And it's just so great that you got people like Marcus in this company, a whole bunch of them all over the nation, who have been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And they are willing to go ahead and take all of that experience and pour it into people like you at our events. So again, just real excited to be here. You also made me think, Mike, when you were talking about hitting hyper growth and when things really take off. And I remember I was in a couple of network marketing companies that really exploded. But I remember the biggest one I was in. One of my most remarkable moments is, I'd worked really hard and had a big team and it had spread all over the country. And it was in all 50 states, even though I'd only been to about 30 states at that point. And I was on an airplane. The gal was, I was in first class. She was walking past me. She stopped and she goes, "Are you Marc Accetta?" And I'm like, "Uh-oh, did I do something wrong?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh my God, I'm on your team. I can't believe it. That's so cool. I can't believe I'm meeting you in person." I go, "Oh, that's awesome. Where are you from?" And she's like, "Montana." I'm like, "No way. How long have you been doing the business?" "Great. Oh my God, that's so good." She goes, "Last month I did $80,000 in team volume. I am so stoked." And I just, we walked by and I just sat there and quickly calculating the comp plan. Here's a young lady I made about $8,000 off last month. I don't even know who she is. And I mean, when you get into that kind of growth, when you hit that tipping point and things just explode, that's when things get really fun. It's fun right now, but it's much more fun in hyper growth. And, I really believe we are now starting to move this engine. You know what I mean? It's like a locomotive. It takes a while to get a locomotive going. But once you get a locomotive going, it's almost impossible to get the thing stopped. And that's kind of direction we're headed right now. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about the next live event we have coming up. I really wish, there was a way to go back in time, because I know a lot of the people who are your uplines, the people who got you in the business, if they could go back in time after they experienced national convention here in Dallas, I live in Dallas, then they would go back in time and they would force you to go to the event. They would certainly push you to go to the event. I guess they can't make you go, but they would have pushed you a lot harder, because what happened at the event was just so overwhelmingly powerful. So the bad news is there is no way to go back in time. The good news is we can learn from our past. And, people who don't learn from their past are doomed to be failures, and no one wants to do that. So we do have this very, very unique event coming up called The View from the Edge. I appreciate all the nice things Mike said about it. You got to go to the website and check out the promo video for it. It was interesting. I talked to about 10 leaders in the Alliance today, and they were like, "Man, thank God we have that video," because it's really hard to explain this training. Here's the thing. Most all of the way a human brain works is based upon giving an example of something else. I don't know how much you know about the legal system, but if you're in a courtroom, most cases that are done today, they will cite precedent. In other words, they're going to cite a case from the past. They'll say, okay, in 1984, in the state versus this, and they'll state a judge's decision in that case. So they're always comparing the current case they're trying to something from the past to convince the people in the jury or the judge that this case is just like that case, therefore you should rule in my favor. Well, when most people try to explain anything, think about it. A new musician comes out and you go, you know what? They remind me a lot of U2, or they remind me a lot of this band. So we're always trying to explain something new and compare it to something old. Well, the problem with this event is there's nothing else like it. I mean, literally nothing else like it. So you can't say, oh my gosh, it's a lot like this. You just have to really take the time to explain it to them. So I'm not going to bore you with an explanation right now. I'll give you a couple of quick things. First of all, when we are in a classroom, let's just keep it real. How many of us remember being in grade school, middle school, high school, or college, being in a classroom and not paying 100% attention to what the teacher said? Can anyone remember not paying 100% attention? Certainly. We were, but I don't know if you know this, by the time you get out of high school in America, you spent approximately 14,000 hours in a classroom. Think about how we became programmed and conditioned, because let's face it, guys, you didn't need to pay attention every day in school. If right before each test, you crammed all the information in and you have good short-term memory, you could get straight A's and hardly pay attention in class whatsoever. So whether you learn that consciously or unconsciously, the truth is, for whatever reason, most people didn't pay much attention in school. Now you're sitting in a seminar and you want to pay attention, and you have world-class trainers like Marcus, and they're there pouring this information out to you. And the amazing thing is most of you aren't really listening. You're listening, but you're not listening. Well, what we do at The View is we don't do classroom lecture style training. We entertain you. So think now about your favorite show on Netflix. What is your White Lotus is a hot show. There's a bunch of all these hot shows. I don't care. Maybe it's Yellowstone. I got obsessed with Yellowstone. I remember the first TV show I binge watched back in the day was 24 with Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland. Oh my God. And I watched episode after. When you find a show that you find entertaining, can you not watch episode after episode after episode, and you're riveted to every moment? And then you can remember what happened 7 episodes or 9. Now, you're not getting tested on it. You're not getting a grade for it. But if you find something entertaining, you're going to pay attention. Therefore, you remember something. Well, how can you do something? How can you take something you were taught and actually put it into action if you don't even remember it? So again, it's a really amazingly powerful way of training. Now, I've been doing Zooms like this with big teams in the Alliance all day long, and a bunch of questions came up. I just want to run some of this by you. People say, well, Mark, what do you say to someone? When would you introduce The View to them? So I said, look, I would talk in every presentation I do about we have an incredible training system. We have 4 live events a year. We do a lot of virtual stuff in between. But the bottom line is, if you never sold insurance before in your life, it doesn't matter. Not only will we teach you exactly how to sell insurance at our 4 big live events, but we'll also teach you how to recruit and build a sales team if that's something you're interested in. And we're not going to have professors teaching you. We're not going to have people who don't know how to do this in actuality. We take the very best people in the world. As a matter of fact, the #1 salesperson in the country, her name is Megan Wood. She's going to be teaching and training at the next live event that we're doing. Next thing you can say is, you know, when someone goes, well, you know, I want to go, but I'm busy, or I have another obligation. It's like, okay, I get it. But I just want you to understand this. These 4 trainings, they're all very unique and very different. So if you don't go to this event, you won't be able to re-attend this event for over a year. Now, I just want to make sure you understand what's going on, because I know the kind of success that people are going to have coming out of this event. And I'm telling you right now, if you see the people all over your town all over the group are having explosive momentum. Things are going crazy because a lot of people are going to have huge breakthroughs and really turn a corner and make a lot of money after this event. And then you can't attend it for another year. I mean, if you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. But I just want to let you know, if there is any way you can get out of what you're doing, I strongly recommend it. Because here's another thing I say. Listen, if I didn't like you, meaning if I didn't believe in you, if I didn't think you had what it takes to be a champion, then I wouldn't push you to go to this event. But I don't want you to have to wait a year to get this information. Guys, you cannot have these kind of conversations with people if you're not having one-to-one conversations. If you think you're going to get a bunch of people on a Zoom like this and do a group pitch and that's going to be effective, you are sadly mistaken. It's taking the time to either meet someone for coffee, meet them for a beer, have a phone call, do whatever it takes. I'm talking about the people on your team, and let them know why they need to get to this event. And you've got a built-in urgency meter because the price goes up after Friday at midnight. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't be selling plenty of tickets because the price isn't going all the way up after Friday at midnight. It's still going to be a discounted price, but this is going to be a lowest price someone can possibly go. And I'll also tell you this, Mike, Dan, Nick, Rachel, they can all tell you this. I have never done this event at that low of a price. Andy wanted to make sure we had everybody humanly possible. They had no excuses, no reasons not to attend. So he decided to offer it at the lowest price we've ever offered it to make sure we have maximum. Now, that's all well and good. Andy set us all up for success. But if you don't take advantage of that, then, you know, what's the point of him offering that amazingly low offer? And it is 100% going away at Friday at midnight. So you have got plenty of time still to make these one-on-one calls and answer their objections. And if someone doesn't have the money to go, I mean, oh my gosh, guys, it's like, think about that. If they think they don't have the money to go, those same people are going to find the money to go out and party. They'll find the money to go to some concert. They'll find the money to do all these other different things. It's like, that's where we need to have what we call tough love and go, guys, this is not a seminar on, Mars are from men, women are from Venus, so you can have a better relationship. This is not a seminar on how to be able to crochet a sweater. This is a seminar on how to make a ton of money, how to be a great leader, how to build an explosive sales force. And this could alter your financial destiny. So, I mean, you can't afford it. I'm not going to accept that. You can't afford not to go to it. What you can't afford to it, that's what my mentor used to say. I remember back in the day when I first started doing presentations, he goes, man, you need to buy a suit and tie. And I'm like, I can't afford it. And he goes, you can't afford not to have it. It's, again, just like you just saw Marcus overcome every objection, right? That was for setting appointment. If we got another top leader in here, if we got Marc Hutch, or if we got Stephen Davies here, and we role play closing a sale, you'd see the same thing. They overcome all the objections. They don't put an ounce of credibility into any objection a customer is giving them. Same exact thing when you're closing a sale for the business, for the events. You have got to be aggressive with this, guys. I said it at the event. If you don't push your people, most of them will have average results and stick around and be average, or end up quitting because they're not getting the kind of results they want in business. If there was one event all year long that you bet on and you push like crazy, it is 100% definitely this event. So I just want to make sure you are crystal clear on that. Again, you can go online. I know they got the video that they can show to you. Whatever it takes, get the assets you need. Talk to your upline, ask for their help. But whatever you do, do not ignore the opportunity to sign people up for this event over the next 72 hours. That's why they wanted me to be on the call right now. Next Tuesday is too late because that window of opportunity is already over. So when a window closes, it closes. Don't let this window close on you and your team. Make sure you get as many people registered as fast as you possibly can. So, Mike, I'm going to toss it back to you. I know you got a few other things to say before the Zoom is over, but thanks, as always, for trusting me and giving me the opportunity to be a part of this. And I'm just telling you point blank, I'll say one last thing. The people who don't go to this event are going to regret it. If you can go and you just, for whatever reason, choose not to, you're going to regret it. This is maybe going to be the best one of these I've ever done. And we have done some amazing versions of this training. I have never been this excited to do this event. So with that, again, I'll pitch it back to you, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mark. You guys, I'll tell you this, the top leader that I've had on my team in the previous business and here, Dave Fleming, you guys know him as Panda. He had his own objections why he couldn't go to his first view. And long story short, he sold his TV. He sold his flat screen 60-inch TV to go to his first view 8 years ago. And that's when we decided, you know what, we were already great friends, but we became best friends. And we decided we're going to not just do business together. We're going to do life together. Whatever we do, we're sticking with each other. And man, we had absolute breakthrough. So here's the way I always looked at these events and this type of business. I learned real early, if you empty your wallet into your mind will overflow your wallet. Let me say that again. If you empty your wallet into your mind will overflow your wallet. So let's say you're brand new and you don't know anything about insurance or building a team. Let's just hypothetically, let's see that just like there's leads, just like we know we're going to make 5 times more than what we spend on the leads. You know, some people are going to do way better, like a Hutch, someone that's skilled and been in it for a long time. Maybe someone that's a rookie might make 3 or 4. All right. With the business, we've got national convention, we've got the view, we've got family reunion, and we've got breakthrough. Let's hypothetically say the average ticket cost is, it's cheaper than this, but let's say it's $400 per event. So that's $1,600 per year. Okay. Then you've got flights, round trip flights, $400. Okay. There's another $1,600, $3,200. Then you've got maybe a rental car. Well, most of the places we're doing in major cities now that you don't need a rental car. But let's just say on the safe end, you've got to spend $4,000 per year at the max. If you want to get drunk at the bar and stay at the nice place, you could do it cheaper. You want to eat out at the max, you spend $5,000 a year on your education. That's the most you can spend, which you can write off. Hello, ding dong. You can spend $5,000 per year on your events. We call it Alliance University. But the skills that you learn from that year, the next year, put an extra 90 grand in your bank account. I mean, I don't know if you guys understand math, but who wouldn't spend 5 to make the 90? I didn't know anything about insurance. My first 6 months in the business was just learning how the products, learning the business. I knew a little bit about building, all that kind of stuff. But our first full year, we made well over 200,000 last year. And I had some expenses to that, but not nearly what we made. You know what I mean? I probably spent 5,000, 7,000, and I bought tons of extra tickets because I knew I was buying tickets with the intent of growing my team to fill those tickets. So it'll always come back tenfold, y'all. Don't be cheap on this stuff. Don't be cheap on yourself. You got to get there, and you got to bring everybody on your team there. If you have any regrets in your life, it's going to be sitting in the event when Mark's doing a skit and you have a great friend, a really good friend sitting at home that they're dealing with something and you were weak about getting them to the event. And you were like, this skit is what she needed and she's not here. And there's no way you can explain it to someone. It's like explaining what a flower smells like. How do you explain that? You've got to smell the damn flower, you know? So prices go up at midnight, 11 o'clock Central Time on Friday. Tickets are only $2.99 now. I've spent $3.99 to $4.99 every single year I've gone when I was making 10 times less money. Okay. And it was worth it. And it was the best event I've ever been to by a mile, and it's not even close. So if you want to get registered, here's how you do it. Go to theallianceevents.com, theallianceevents.com, log in, go get your view ticket. We'll figure out the hotel. We'll figure out the rental. We'll figure out all that stuff later. You've got 3 months to go out there and sell insurance. If you sell one policy for $100 a month in the next 3 months, if you sell one policy, it pays for your ticket. It pays for your round trip flight. It pays for your hotel and some food and some booze while you're there. I mean, let's be resourceful and there's no reason why you can't go. Don't just get a ticket for yourself, get a ticket for your team as well. I've already bought 6 myself. I'm getting ready to go buy another 6 or 8. And I'm just expecting to have I mean, we're going to have more people at the View than we had at NatCon. I was sitting there at NatCon thinking, man, this is good, but it's not a zit on the butt of the dog of what the View is. I'm just telling you guys have not seen Marc Accetta unleashed. Those who know. And those who don't, you have no clue. So I can't wait for this event. TheAllianceEvents.com. We're going to be the team that blows not only what we're getting ready to do. It's not even an alliance. Integrity is going to be flipped on its back. They're all going to be wondering what we're doing. All right. We got the best of the best that came on board with Andy's vision and with Marc Accetta. We have the recipe for success. The missing ingredient is your desire. You can't do this without desire. So we love you. We'll see you at the View. Let's get it. I'm going to get the recording out tomorrow morning. Love y'all. Have a good night.